Hey everybody, Joe here with Millennial Homesteading. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I just built this today, so I'd figure I'd make a short one about it. So, a lot of people have these 5 and 6.5 and 8-ton electric log splitters. This one happens to be the lumberjack 6.5 ton. It's electric, 15 amp, runs pretty good. As you can see, I have the button pressed down with a cotter key, and I use that little intermediate foot pedal there for on-off power. But what it doesn't come with, and it does come with this stand, but you have to make sure you order it with it, but it doesn't come with a log tray. And if anybody has split wood on one of these small log splitters knows that on bigger logs, as it splits, the logs roll off and then you end up picking them up, and it can be a backbreaker on an 8-hour day of splitting. So I've been looking around for a while trying to find a decent log table. There's a couple ones that make them, mostly for bigger splitters, not too much for these little splitters, but the ones that do make them for these little splitters normally have the pipe that comes up and around the frame and comes down to your handles. Well, this table here is made by Boss, B-O-S-S, the same people that make the 4-way wedge that I do videos about. Give me 1 second, I'll put it on there. There we are. And that just slides over top of the actual splitting wedge. And it can be flipped upside down because this isn't centered. It's actually a little off. But back to the table. So this is a LT4, which is log table 4. I don't know what the 4 stands for. But it's got a handle here so I can still pick it up and carry it around, drag it around the yard, whatever have you. But it's nice because as I split bigger wood, you know, it'll roll off onto the table, not on the floor or the ground, which is nice. However, this does have to be modified. It doesn't just fit on the wen. Hard to see because I got patch panels here. This is a 14 gauge steel sheet that's been stamped. I wouldn't go any lower than 14 gauge, any thinner than that, for 2 reasons. One, may not be able to hold up to the weight and the durability factor, and 2, you're going to be welding this thing. The thicker the metal on sheet steel, the easier it is to weld. You know, you don't need to go 1/4 inch, but this is definitely 14 gauge steel. I have a gauge. So let me pause this and I'll take you underneath. All right, I'm back. So what you're seeing here is this is the actual ram that comes out. It's got the rods, goes down to the actual ram that contacts the wood. And what I've done here is actually these tubes here are cut from underneath, and they're wide out, kind of like that, because they were hitting this ram. If they were to come straight back, they would hit this ram and it would just be useless. You'd have a table with an angle like that, and that's kind of pointless. So I cut these tubes here, so they support tubes, and cut them straight, put an angle on one end, and then welded them back in place so they come out. So if you can see here, the tube would be right here and it would just keep coming straight. That wouldn't work. So what I did is I brought it out at an angle. That does 2 things. One, it doesn't hit the ram, but more importantly, it gives more stability and anti-flex out here at the far ends of this table. Because as we know, sheet metal under certain weight will flex. So it gives more stability out here on the far ends for bigger logs. So, but it works. And then I took a piece of 3/8 steel, because this is all welded to the frame. First thing to do before you even weld on one of these is disconnect it from power and pull out your breather plug, because as you weld on this, it's going to heat up and the air inside there is going to get hot and it's going to expand. You don't want to blow out your seals in your cylinder, so just take your plug out. You'll be fine. So really can't see. Right here there is a 3/8, sorry, not 3/8, 1/8 inch steel plate that I used as a spacer because the tubes came in, but it would move left and right, so I needed to shim that out and get rid of that play. And after that, you know, you just weld the pipes to it. Of course, get a nice good prep surface and clean. So hopefully here soon when I start splitting again, because, you know, wood rack's doing all right for right now. We'll show it in action. But as of right now, I can put a lot of weight on the end of that, and she ain't budging. So I'm real happy about that. One thing you will have to do, of course, is these are just 14 gauge patch panels that I made. Because the log comes in here, the tube is here, which are normally attached to the frame, but one thing you have to do is make a patch panel. It's not hard to do. If you're not able to do it, find somebody who is pretty good with sheet steel and fabricating and stuff like that. It's really easy. Cut your patch to size and shape, obviously. Tack it in, and then just bend this over with the little hammer taps. Because what it does is the log comes up there, you don't want it to catch and hang up. You want it to just ride up over top of this real smooth. So that's the name of the game, is smooth welds, smooth transition from the orange into the log table. And that's what these are. These are actually level, if not a little underneath of this, which is good. That's what I wanted. So yeah, it's a little bit of work. It's probably been on here for 3-4 hours, between messing around in my garage, which is a mess, and just taking my time and make sure I do all this right. Probably I'd say closer to 3 hours. So thanks, guys. Hopefully this helps and gives somebody some ideas. Later.